In the day 8 of this advent calendar, we have an exercise for the right hand, and we're going to use the open strings and the rest stroke. So in terms of fingers, in terms of patterns, we're going to do I am. We're going to play 4 notes on each string, and we can divide this exercise in 2 parts. So the first part, we're playing 4 notes from the E to the lowest E, and playing an extra note on the 6th string as an arrival note, and then the second part of the exercise we do the same but backwards. So we're going to play 4 notes on the low E, and we're going to arrive on the 1st string playing 4 notes plus a 5th one as an arrival note. So let's start at a fairly slow tempo. So we're going to do like 1, 2, 3, 4. Second part. Now a few considerations for when we're playing the rest stroke. And usually you want to make sure that the finger that has just played the string, it relaxes straight after. You don't want to keep pulling that string. That's the first thing. The second thing, the thumb. Usually the rule is, and you can find that rule in the Essential Principles by Marco Tamayo, and it's that you want to keep your thumb when you're playing from the 1st to the 4th or 3rd string, and then when you're on the 4th, 5th or 6th string you can lift the thumb in the air, but then when you go back down, and then you can put your thumb back. So it's gonna look something like this. Then you lift your thumb. And then when you go back, then you can put your thumb back. Now, because this is a string crossing exercise, you can really mix and match different patterns. So if you do I am on both times, you have an easy time going from the 1st to the 2nd and to the 3rd, because the string crossing is a positive one. Whereas when you go back, so the first time when you go from the 1st to the 6th, you have a positive string crossing, so it's not going to be much of a problem. But when you go back from the 6th to the 1st, if you stick with the I am, you'll have a negative string crossing there. So you can practice in different ways. You can do I am on the way up, and then am I on the way down, so the reverse fingering. Or you can still do I am both ways and then am I both ways. Again, it's good to practice the string crossing, both the positive and the negative one, just so you have the ability to do it when you encounter it in the repertoire. And then the other consideration is, what do we do when we go back, and what do we do when we go back down? So it depends on the piece, it depends on your body, it depends on many different things. Usually in my experience, when I'm going from the 1st to the 6th, I can drag back the arm. However, if it's a very fast piece and I need to go back and back to the 1st, usually I prefer to just stay in the same line and use actually the elbow and the wrist. So something like this. Rather than going back and going back again. The other thing that you might notice if you have nails is that the moment you kind of reach the bass notes, you might want to adjust the angle to a more parallel one. So rather than being more oblique or diagonal, in which you have the nail really scratching the string, you might want to be a bit more parallel. sound is a bit cleaner and there are less noises. So thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow for day 9.